we got some more honesty from a former senior advisor to President Donald Trump. And it turns out it's what I've been talking about for some time. While many would like to blame inflation on Donald Trump, on Biden, Donald Trump is really the genesis of this latest inflation. And we're going to explain it because I got to do a little bit. But let's listen to this first, and then we'll take it on the other side.
There's so much revisionist history, Miles, on the part of Republicans about what happened on January 6th, but there's also revisionist history on the part of voters about how the economy was under Donald Trump. And we know that even if everything breaks Joe Biden's way when it comes to these economic indicators over the next several months, you're still going to have Donald Trump and Republicans who are going to hammer him on the price of food, on the price of gas. He's going to continue to exaggerate his own economic record. I wonder how Democrats combat that, how they get out from under that.
Well, one thing I want to point out, Alicia, first is your point about January 6th and the revisionism. Yep. It's gotten into even deeper, crazy conspiratorial levels. I mean, just today, Sebastian Gorka, a flunky from Trump's universe, was talking about how there were intelligence officers from newly released filings that they found on Capitol Hill. I can tell you why there were people from the intelligence community there, because that's what happens when you call in law enforcement in the area. You've got people who safeguard CIA property and FBI property. You call in all these different law enforcement agencies. I've overseen those activations, but these guys read those tea leaves like there was a secret op against the country run by the intelligence community. I mean, it's getting wackier and wackier. It's a different reality entirely. Why is that connected to economics? Because those same weird conspiratorial views are bleeding over into conversations about things like inflation and the economy under Donald Trump. And in fact, some of these conspiracy theory folks think Joe Biden has a secret 4-dimensional chess that he's trying to do things in the economy. Look, it boils down to this. Whether you're a Democrat or you're a Republican, it's really tough to say the president of the United States is the one controlling the direction of the economy. It's just really, really difficult to do. An economy is a very complex system, like anything in the natural world, and it's difficult to ascribe it to one man or woman's actions. Yes, a president can have influence over that, but there's a lot of revisionist history about what happened under Donald Trump, including extraordinary levels of federal spending that happened under Donald Trump that drove inflation. As a conservative, it was something that was immensely frustrating to me during the Trump administration. Is he promised a smaller government, but instead was one of the biggest spenders, if not the biggest spender in American history. So a lot of what we've dealt with in terms of inflation really started during those Trump years.
Here's what's important. Earlier, I mentioned that in previous videos that inflation, the inflation under Biden was not caused by scarcity. It was not caused by anything that would create that supply-demand sort issue. Inflation occurred because of corporate greed and corporate ineptitude. That is what is causing inflation under Biden. I don't care what you hear on CNBC, corporate ineptitude, corporate greed. And let me explain. Just-in-time inventory screwed the supply chain just as much as the pandemic, because just-in-time inventory and a pandemic doesn't coexist. We must assume that pandemics can happen. Likewise, we should also understand that deciding to manufacture a whole lot of your chain overseas is also something that makes a supply chain failure. And guess what? It occurred because of corporate ineptitude. Now, the other reason is the corporate folks saw people had money in their pockets, and instead of trying to have them create products for them to buy more, their solution was to steal their money. How? Increase the prices of products, even as their cost wasn't increased as much. So that's a legal form of thievery. But the type of inflation that Trump, however, created is one where he directly caused the increase in prices. How? When he talks about he's going to penalize China with a tariff, and when he applies that tariff, Who do you think is paying for the tariff? It's not China paying for the tariff. It's each individual customer who would have bought that T-shirt at a premium now that that T-shirt costs more to bring into the country after your corporations decided that they go manufacture all those things overseas. So again, if you want to look at the genesis of inflation, there are two culprits: tariffs created by Donald Trump and corporate greed created by corporations and the ineptitude of corporations. So therefore, if we really want to be serious about controlling inflation, let's do it right. Make sure you have the right people elected and demand that they pass policies that, first of all, stop the excess profits of corporations by taxing it right back out of them and redistributing it to the people who they was stolen from. And then we can talk about a real equitable economy.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel. And number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.